Yeah, welcome to the 79th annual. No, I don't know. But good evening, everybody. Thank y'all for being and submitting and jumping on the virtual call. Um, we got message from the church that they're still going to be shut down through at least August. So these meetings will continue this way virtually through August for sure. Um, I don't know. We don't know more than that from them yet. But as we know more, we will post. We'll keep everybody posted. Um, for the art show that's hanging up at West Pecan, currently they're open, and so I think that day, Patty, am I right? The 13th is when we're going to be switching out.
Yes, I'm going to send out a message again to the people that said they wanted to participate. But also adding in that they have to understand it might change depending on what happens.
Yeah, everything may change, but for right now, the plan is on the morning of the 13th. If you have art currently hanging at West Pecan,
Not,
or either take it down or contact us and we'll go by and get it for you. I'll go by and get it for you. I'll go by in the morning, and then in the afternoon, evening, we'll be, or when are we going to be putting up the submissions for the basic and intermediate?
Josh,
Mm.
um, it's set for taking down between 8 and 9 p.m. And
PM?
yep, that's what it was. So that as soon as it's taken down, then we hang up the other group and they don't end up with a day of nothing.
Ah, okay, that makes sense. Okay,
And
by the
so
way.
hanging is supposed to start at 9 right after they close.
Okay, perfect, awesome. And just so y'all know, the goal for that was so West Pecan Coffee. It's right in downtown Pflugerville. It's normally my like office away from my office, but I became friends with them. The club installed a hanging system there, and so about 6 months out of the year, we're gonna well, in a normal year, we're gonna have different print hangings there. So obviously, COVID changed a lot of that, but that's what we're talking about. If you don't know what we're talking about, is that we have plans for basically a little coffee shop studio space to hang our prints in. And so the advanced winners from 2019 we're hanging up there right now. And then we'll be switching that out to the winners from basic intermediate that want to hang some prints for a little while. So Patty's going to send an email with more of that. Yeah. So if you have more information, email Patty or me, and we'll get you in touch with what you need. Let's see what else. This is competition night this month. Also, there's going to be there's going to be 3 meetings this month. We're going to have a fifth Thursday meeting as well.
Good.
There's 5 Thursdays in July.
I
So
know.
so we'll be doing a virtual happy hour. I think we're still working on the details, but I think we're going to have like small breakout rooms.
I did.
Somebody's still on the phone. And so I think we're going to break it out with so that each of the like people on the leadership committee.
And no, because they'll pick it up tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay. Hey Ed, can we mute whoever that is?
Deborah Cole.
Well, I get an email. No, well,
You're not unmuted.
and a text every week telling me time to fix your toilet.
All right. There we go. Thank you, Ed. Sorry about that. Yeah, so we're going to be doing a virtual happy hour on the last Thursday of July, and our hope was instead of having a big meeting like this where there's like 50 faces, we'll do a couple smaller breakout rooms. So we'll have like small little happy hour rooms and just talk BS. I'll be leading one. Patty will probably be leading one. Maybe a couple more. So just some people from the leadership team will be each, so y'all can ask us questions, especially if you're a new member, kind of want to get to know like what everything's about. That'd be a good place for that. So. Let's see. Am I forgetting anything so far? Who are our judges? We have Brian, we have Phil, and we have who's our third judge tonight?
Dennis Bosserman.
Dennis.
Dennis. Yeah, hey Dennis.
We got a first-time judge, so
Yeah.
amazing things.
So here's the thing. Thank y'all for judging. This is a volunteer club. It takes members donating their time and energy to make this all happen. Brian, this is his second month judging in a row. I know Phil, you've judged several times.
Yep.
So it does take some effort. I think I think as a judge, you learn quite a bit as well, though. You really get a much more intimate look at all the photos, and I think it's a great way to learn. This is all me saying, hey, everybody else out there, you should also be volunteering to judge. It's a great way to give back to the photo club that gives so much to you. But I know it's intimidating. We're putting more rules and some more resources together so that people have a more clear idea of kind of what we're looking for. And you know, we've been fine tuning it over the last couple months. I think we're in a pretty good place with it. One of the things that we've had to deal with is the fact that we're getting a lot of submissions now, and so how can we submit and still scale? And so that's why we're not doing as many verbals, but it also keeps our meetings in a more compact form, which is good, especially when we're at a physical place that we actually have to physically leave. And I can only wear these headsets for so long, so it's great. Anyway, so judges, thank y'all for judging and stepping up. Everybody who hasn't judged yet, you're on the clock. I'm looking at you. I'm seeing your little square, and I'm looking at you. It's really not that bad. I think it's kind of fun to do. I'll probably be volunteering again here in the next month or two. Anything else, guys? Am I forgetting anything? I think we're right up to our 75 person limit now, right? Membership?
We're at 73.
73? Cool. Yeah. So yeah, we've had good growth this year. I think that's just people, you know, going out and telling their friends and, you know, finding us. So that's been really great. You know, 73 to, you know, 85, that's a great number. You know, we don't have to grow, but I think it's a testament to the things we're doing, even when things got disrupted, that we're still doing good stuff. And that, you know, we're all telling our friends, and it's just, you know, providing that community. And I think people are really responding to that. So yeah. Anything else anybody wants to say right now? Clay, what's up, man?
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to ask if anybody listened or had a comment on the precision photo weekend where they had some different classes. You could listen to those at home. You didn't have to go in. I listened to a couple and thought they were quite interesting.
I know.
Anybody buy anything?
I did buy a tripod because apparently I lost a tripod somehow. Yeah, I don't know where.
That's a little big to lose, Josh.
And it was my like good tripod. I don't know where it is. I don't know what I did. It was like a really nice tripod.
Honestly, Josh, it's only a matter of time. The way you lose lens caps.
Yeah, I know. So I have a new Vanguard tripod, and I really like it. Vanguard's an American company. They do really good stuff. So there you go. Yeah, so I bought a tripod at Expo. In September, Precision's going to be doing another 2-day kind of Expo virtual classes again. They just announced that today as well.
Well, okay
John,
then.
Can I plug T3?
Terminator 3?
Sure.
Yeah, I was like, what? Yeah, I mean, we can turn this into a movie critique show. Yeah, you mean the next in 2 weeks, the meeting in 2 weeks?
Yes.
Yeah,
So
go for it.
In 2 weeks, we have Phil Sandlin, who is a retired AP wire photographer. He has pictures that you will probably have seen, and he'll be our guest in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I saw some of those photos, man. It was like crazy. You realize you're like, oh, that guy. Yeah, I've seen that photo. Yeah, it was pretty impressive. Yeah. All right. So, Mark, you wanna lead us through the competition?
Sure.
Awesome.
Do I have the con?
Yeah.
All right.
Take the bridge.
I want to share. I can find the right program. Oh, there it is. Okay. So, welcome to the competition for July. The theme this month is Cityscapes. We got a lot of good entries. We're going to start with the basic division. There are 14 images. We're going to go through them one at a time just to let everybody see them. And then we'll go back through them again for the judges to make their comments. We've got a little bit of confusion on who was assigned what, but hopefully we'll get 9 critiques out of each class tonight. And if not, well, you could just write me a dirty letter. Okay, first starting with the images in the basic class. Oh, I guess I should read the names, huh? Second is Rooftops of Rome. Sunrise Reflection. Boating on the Lake. Trail with a View. Rose Gold. Model Manhattan, Multimedia, Macro. I think we've got some keywords in the title. Skip this one, it's disqualified. Vintage Beauty Shop. Going for a Bite of Frost. Midtown from Pier C Park, Hoboken. End of a Perfect Day. Austin, When There Was Nightlife. Crossing 79. Mad Rush. Okay. I'm hoping everybody was able to see the images.
Yep.
Okay.
So,
Now if I can.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, now I gotta get back to a different screen here. All right, competition manager doesn't want to play friendly. Let's see. Show images. Okay. Can you see this now?
Just a bit in the middle of the screen.
not yet.
All right, let me get back to
No.
here. I've got to reshare it. Oh, there it is. I've got too many programs open.
There you go.
All right. So let's show the images. Okay. We're going to go through these one at a time now. First is B turns the screw again. Oops. Does anybody take of that? I didn't think so. Okay. Rooftops of Rome. Brian? Is this your?
Yeah, I believe so. I really enjoyed this picture. it's been a while since I've been, probably about 10 years, but I was in Rome. And one thing I really loved about that city was the different shades of stucco and the different vibrant colors that all the buildings had. And that's kind of where I was at with this picture. I would have loved to see a little bit more saturation or vibrance in the buildings. And just to bring out the colors a little bit more, they seem a little bit sun-dried. That is a really bad pun. And I don't know, maybe bring the crop down a little bit to cut out some of that hazy horizon. It's a little bit distracting. But other than that, it's a great shot. What building? I'm just curious to know what building they were shooting from to get this angle. But it's a great shot. It shows exactly how congested that city is, and they still maintain the historical beauty of it. It's a great shot. Good job.
Okay. Sunrise Reflection. Phil, are you doing that one?
Yes. I see exactly what the photographer was going for, and it's a great concept. I mean, you demonstrated a great eye for finding things to shoot. What I would say about this is that it's perfectly straight, it's exposed well, it's the composition is probably the weakest area on this image. And what I would have done, this is purely subjective, but my observation about this is that they should have cropped it down to just the face, and I don't know how I'm going to do this, but just the face of the building that is reflecting the building in front of it. In other words, you just want to isolate the front panel of that building, and then you've got the reflection of the other building, and I think it's a little more impactful if you do it that way. But I mean, it's a great. The photographer had a great eye and he had a great thing going. Just crop it down a little more, and I think you'd be all right.
Okay, thank you, Phil. Phil reminds me to state, most of you know this, but just in case you don't or you're new to this process, all the judges' opinions, of course, are subjective, and that's how they interpret images. And the idea is to tell you what's good and strong about your image and other areas where it might possibly improve it. But ultimately, nobody knows exactly what you were going for. So, if it achieved your goals, well, so be it. But again, remember, these are just opinions.
Mark?
Yes.
Are the judges using the sliders, and what's out of the sliders labeled? Which sliders are they using?
Okay, that's a very good question.
When you say sliders,
the scoring sliders, each, the little sliders.
Okay.
Yeah. The 0 to 100 sliders.
Yeah.
Their composition, their technique, in terms of technically well done with exposure and sharpness and depth of field. If there's a theme, how well it, relates to the theme. Or if there's no theme, does it tell a story, or is it, is the intent of the photographer obvious? Use of color and light, impact is a big one. And I'm missing the sixth one. I'll find it.
Well, the key thing is that we're hearing their oral comments and their oral critique, but they've also used a scale and looked at each photo and given it scores on six.
Doesn't each photographer get that?
Yes.
So
yes,
everybody can see.
People are getting it.
Everybody can see all of those things.
Online. So even though we're skipping some and not hearing an oral critique, they do get scores. Everybody gets a score, and
yes,
everyone got judged.
All three judges score every image, and they do formal critiques on about 1/3 of them.
Actually, Mark, I believe everybody can see everybody's critique now. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. So if you're wondering what somebody, what the judges thought about an image that you really liked or really didn't like, wanted to see if your, opinions correspond, everybody's welcome to look online at the images from this competition. Okay, moving on. Boating on the lake.
This is mine.
I think Dennis is this was assigned to Dennis.
Yes. I'm going to report on this one. I love the composition of this photo. The boat in the front and the center just grabs your eye immediately, and then you just wonder. You wonder if they staged all those other boats around him just for this picture, but it's a great composition. And then you got the background layered with the middle trees in the middle and the city in the back. And it just gives you that nice, peaceful feeling that you're there rowing on the lake. My only suggestion for this picture would have been to tone down the yellows. They're a little bit too oversaturated for me. And a little bit of the green in the lake doesn't look realistic to me. But other than that, it's just a wonderful shot. Great composition, great story. Good work.
Cool. Thanks, Dennis. All right. This is Trail with a View. I don't believe we have a critique on this, oral on this one. Rose Gold. Phil, this is one of yours. Did you want to comment on it, or?
Yeah, this was very, very well done, well executed, actually. The only question I had when I was looking at it before is how did you get all that noise in there? There's quite a bit of noise in this image, and if you were on a tripod shooting at 100 ISO, I'm not sure that would have been the result. So probably the photographer is using a very high ISO, very possibly unbeknownst to him or her, but it's well composed, it's well exposed, the color palette is very dramatic. And again, the clouds probably would have been improved upon had there not been so much noise in that portion of the image.
Okay. All right, thank you. Next one is Model Manhattan. And I don't think we have an oral on that one. Very interesting shot, though. Next, afraid to say, is Vintage Beauty Shop.
Are you afraid to say?
Mark, are you the teaching this?
I'm afraid to show it. Not because the photographer did a bad job.
It's one of mine, right?
Yes.
I actually really enjoyed this photo. The only thing I could say, I mean, I liked everything about it. It's a fun photo. It's telling a fun story. The one thing I would have tried is putting you actually in the center of the sign, covering up the silhouette. I think that would have added a lot more humor to the image and told a very funny story. Technically speaking, it's great. It's a little on the cool side as far as the warm on the color correction goes for me, but it's a fun story. Tells a funny story. There's a really good shot. But yeah, that's about it. If you were only like in the center, I think that would have literally made me laugh out loud when I saw the image.
Go for that next year.
My comment when reviewing that was I see these scissors sticking him in the eye. It's like that was a little bit distracting to me.
I think the photographer placed me there on purpose.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he had something else in mind.
If you wanted to go dark with it, I would have like a little ketchup.
Oh gosh.
And now you see why Brian and I are friends.
All right. Going for a bite of frost. Brian, this is actually Phil's assignment. But Brian, you picked it? I don't know. You guys fight over it.
I actually thought it was my, but I mean,
What's the name of it again?
It's called Going for a Bite of Frost.
Yeah, that was mine.
If you want to verbal critique it, go right ahead.
I see exactly what the photographer was going for. You have that little part of the crane that was kind of centered over the top, and I don't know the name of that building. I'm sure it's common knowledge to all of you guys. Okay, yeah, I figured that was it. The Frost Building, and then it looks like the Frost Building is taking a bite out of the crane, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's a great idea, but just get tighter on it. And that's a theme that I'm seeing with this crop of photographs is people were so wide. They're afraid to crop down, zoom in on an image and really isolate that part of it that's contributing to the message or to the emotional impact. But it's exposed perfectly. It's very, very definitely in focus. You've got good depth of field. You've got great background with the clouds and a great position of the sun over his left shoulder. But I would just get in tighter. That's really the only area of improvement that I would see on the image.
Okay, thanks, Phil. Okay, Midtown from Pierce C. Park in Hoboken. Dennis, I believe you were going for this one.
Yeah, this brings back so many memories of just laying in the sunshine, soaking it up, and you just get that warm, nice feeling when you see this picture. I can just feel that sunshine in my face just looking at the picture, and beyond that, you see her relaxing there, and while the hustle and bustle of the city just goes on by. I just think it's a wonderful picture. It's got good separation from the foreground subject and the midground river and people there, and in the background city and sky. I think it's just a great shot.
I want to ask a really stupid question.
Yeah.
If you
Go
don't
ahead,
mind.
Yeah.
Are those buildings in the upper left-hand corner of the image, are they really in the New York skyline?
Those buildings?
This is Hawkins boat.
Yes. Yeah, that's New York.
Wow. It's been a while since I've been there then.
Yeah, they got some
Wait,
funky
They're
buildings with
North
funky
Tower?
angles nowadays.
Interesting.
Okay.
Is that Start Tower in the upper left?
that's what I was saying. I was like, really? Tower in New York?
Yeah.
All right, next is End of a Perfect Day. I don't think we have comments on this.
I'll verbal
Go
critique,
ahead.
since
Go
I
ahead.
think that was also one of my critiques, I believe. I see what the photographer was going for this. It's a great serene image of the lake. Not sure if it really counts as a cityscape, but that aside, couple of things I would have tried. The spotlight on the bank is very distracting. It takes away from the serenity of the scene. Maybe shoot lower down on the bank so you're actually getting the water and the hills and then the sunset. And that to me would have made it a little bit more of a serene image and a perfect capture of a perfect end of the day. Other than that, it's a nice photo.
Okay. Is Austin when there was nightlife? I don't think we have that one. That's Phil. That one's yours if you want to say anything.
Okay. I love night city shots. I think there's so much creative things that you can do, bring to bear on a shot. But this one is severely underexposed, but it's well composed. You got the good reflection there on some relatively calm water. The moon above the city. And I'm guessing that's probably the reason it's underexposed, was to probably isolate that moon a little better. But I think if you just open the aperture, I think that would present a lot more detail and a lot more dynamic range on the image that it sorely needs. But it's in focus. It's composed very, very well. So just open the aperture, and I think you'd have a much, much better picture.
Okay. Crossing 79. Dennis, I believe you.
Yeah, so this is mine, and I think they did an excellent job of using the chain link fence here to frame the junction of 79, the topic of the picture. The leading lines of the road and the cars coming and going, draw your eyes through the picture. To me, I would have gone back to your topic about cropping the picture smaller. I think I would have got rid of the left half of the picture that where there's just the store and the road, that not much going on there, and that would have left the focus entirely on the junction of 79 with just the frame outline of the chain link fence there. But other than that, it's an interesting shot.
Okay. And the last image in this group was Mad Rush, which is self-explanatory, I think. Okay, so we now are going to show the winners.
So we're going to say anything about that shot?
Well, you can if you want. There was nobody assigned. I mean, everybody. We've already had the 9 critiques, but did you want to say something about it?
Well, just for the benefit of the photographer, I'm sure he or she is feeling a little bit
Okay,
I'll say something about it.
Ignored,
Sure.
you know. What I would say is that's a really good representation of Austin. I'm sure it's 35 North, and it's always packed. It never runs smoothly. It's always backed up. I don't care what time of day you go down there. And it's a perfect representation of the traffic problem in Austin. The angle is really different. I think this was actually had to have been shot from a moving car. So that makes it really unique. But once again, just get in tighter, crop your image, zero in on the subject matter, which is the traffic jam in the middle of the shot. Otherwise,
it was moving.
it's well exposed. It's perfect focus, which is even more amazing given that it was shot from a moving car. So, everything technically about it is perfect. Just crop it down some.
What I would say, I actually wrote this into critique, and I was hoping it was from a moving car and not someone,
standing on a bridge.
Well, in the lower right-hand corner, you can see that little part of the highway there is out of focus,
Yeah.
so that tells me it was a moving.
But in contrast to going in tighter, if you waited, I'm assuming you're driving from left to right, if you'd waited like a couple of seconds, those on the on-ramp and the off-ramp would be perfectly framing and drawing your eye towards the traffic on a wide angle critique.
Mm-hmm.
That would be my only other addition to critiquing this photo, is that if you just waited a few more seconds, those ramps would have been on either side of the image, and it would have been a
Framing
perfect
it up
eye.
differently. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Very good point.
Hard to wait when you're moving, though.
Okay. So let's look at some winners. We have one honorable mention, and that's Donna Smith for Trail with a View.
Hey.
Congratulations, Donna. Third place goes to Michelle Johnson for Crossing 79. Second place, Michael Knox for Boating on the Lake. And first place goes to Michael Knox also for Midtown from Pier C. Thank you all. There's a bunch of good images in that group. We will do the People's Choice results all at the end of the program. Okay, next we're going to go to the intermediate group. There are 16 images for review, and we will do that now.
Hey, Mark, real quick. We talked about people getting a chance to talk about like maybe the winning photo or two. Do we still want to do that, or we do that at the end? I can't remember.
I'd rather do it at the end, just
Okay,
because
that's
you
fine.
never know how time's going to go. But yeah, we'll do that.
Okay. Yeah, great.
Okay, so we're going to go through the intermediate group now.
Hey, I'm having some video issues. Hang on, I'm going to have to reboot. Give me a second.
All right, strike. Rise above it all. Let's take another selfie.
I think that one's mine. Oh,
Well,
you're
yeah, let's get
going
to it in a
through
second
them
round.
all. That's right. Okay, I forgot.
Capitol hiding between buildings. Longest title ever, looking down over Manhattan. And Justice for All. Under the L train.
Is that image supposed to be upside down?
Yes. The gentleman kickflip. Ode to H.G. Wells.
That's a great title.
Storm Bridge. Will I still be standing in the morning? Afternoon stroll. Black Austin Matters. Hitting the high note. A long exposure of Manhattan taken early morning from Queens. Cranes everywhere. Okay.
You know, hear me and see me?
Yep.
I hear you.
We hear you.
Don't want to see it.
I see you now.
Okay, we're going to do the teak section now. So all right. Strike. I don't see anybody signed up for that one.
I'll make a stab at it.
All right.
A great shot, great composition. It's in focus. It was obviously shot through either a rainstorm or a bank of clouds. I'm guessing it was a rainstorm. I mean, how do you get this lucky? I mean, it was obviously cropped, but I mean, talk about peak of action. This is the definition of peak of action. The other thing I would say was that it needs to be a little more contrast put into it. It's a little bit washed out. I would make an effort to try to bring out a little bit of the detail of the clouds in the background, especially from where the lightning bolt is coming down. Maybe boost the saturation just a tiny bit. But that's a great shot right there.
Very nice. Okay. Next is Rise Above It All. Dennis?
Yeah, I think this is a very creative view of Austin. And at first I was trying to figure out where he shot it from, and then I realized it was a drone shot, but that doesn't take away from it any. I would have cropped a little bit of the sky out a little bit. I think we got way too much sky there. And that would give me it gives me a feeling that I'm looking down more on Austin and I'm as high as I can get. And it was an interesting time of day that they took this shot because I see no lights in the buildings and you know, but it's still a very, it's a little underexposed picture, it looked like to me, but interesting shot. Other than that, I think it's well composed, and you definitely know the center of attention there with the statue looking down on growing Austin with the cranes and everything else.
Okay, thanks, Dennis. All right, let's take another selfie. Brian.
Hang on, I'm back. Okay. At first, I swear I thought this was in Chicago because I crossed the same very similar bridge in their park, but then I realized it's Austin. A really fun shot of, you know, park life in Austin. Really well exposed. I love the colors. Given that the title is called "Let's Take Another Selfie," I would have liked to have seen a tighter crop on the couple. I get that this is probably an impromptu candid shot. They didn't realize that you were taking their picture, which is something I do myself, so I'm not faulting anyone. But that's my only critique is maybe a tighter crop on them, get a little bit of that sky out of there and focus more on the buildings, and then use the flora and the fauna that give a great separation between the couple and the buildings, and just get a little bit more in on them, since by giving the title that they're the focus of the image. But that's it. Really fun image.
Okay. Capitol hiding between buildings. Bill, you have two more you can do this round.
Okay. Well, let's see what they were going for. I mean, the title says what they were going for. What I would say is it doesn't quite hit the mark. I like the composition. I like what they were going for, the new versus the old. I think that's, a legit thing, but it's just not well executed. I think you could have moved the Capitol building a little more over to the right in the image and made it more prominent, meaning you might have moved back and used a longer lens to try to bring the Capitol building up further a little bit to try to make it more of a presence in the image. So the big problem with this is composition, but it was excellently exposed. I think the dark really contributes to the emotional impact. I think it could have been boosted a little bit from a saturation standpoint, but it's in focus. Everything is very, very sharp. It's straight, which that's where I start. Is it straight? Because if it's not straight, nothing else matters. So just a reposition of the Capitol Dome there in the composition, I think, is the only thing that would improve this shot. Otherwise, good work.
Okay, thanks, Bill. Okay, this is looking down over Manhattan. And Justice for All. I don't know if we should call this under or over the L train, but it's under the L train. The gentleman, kick flip.
So I really like this shot. It's a good action shot, and it's a tough one to make. I don't know how you got without having the blown out lights from the bridge there coming down and wiping you out, but still having the depth of field and everything you have within this picture. So it's really a great shot. Action, good action there in the middle. It really grabs your attention. My biggest question was, how in the world did he make that shot? Without having, a flash or something but didn't blow out the rest of the light. A very good technical shot, very good focus, strong image.
I think it's one of the best images of the entire night.
I think I can get you an interview with that person.
It's not a cityscape.
Okay, this one's ode to H.G. Wells, which is a great title.
I think this is one of mine that I chose to verbal critique. I really love the perspective of this shot, and I get the humor. The street light is supposed to look like one of the alien ships from War of the Worlds. I like the contrast. It's really good. I like that you went with a desaturated look instead of an oversaturated look. The green contrast, the cobalt blue of the building, and then you have the clouds that sort of frame this image. The one thing I did notice, though, there is a high amount of pixelation around the street lamp itself, and that's my only critical critique about it. And seeing as how that's the focus of it, your eye immediately goes straight to that street lamp, and you see the pixelation. But that's something that happened in post-processing. But as far as a straight image, it's a really good shot.
All right. Next is Storm Bridge.
And I like the juxtaposition of all the right angles versus the swooping curvature of the suspension portion of this bridge. And I think it's a great abstract, actually. Looking straight down the middle of a street. Everything is balanced. You do have some storm clouds coming in from the right, which I'm not sure how that plays into what is obviously a play on angles. It's a geometric abstract shot. So well done. I mean, and also I think it's a good example of really good balanced dynamic range. They pulled out the detail from the dark areas, and they also pulled out the details in the brighter sky areas. And I mean, it's not perfect, but it still is a very well done image in terms of bringing out the the dynamic range. Now you do have some haloing around the image on the center right in the distance there. I see some haloing, but aside from that, I mean, it's a small thing to critique on, but I thought this was well done.
Okay.
The desaturation, I think, contributes to it as well.
It's not black and white, is it?
No, but I actually love that you have the desaturation, and it's the way that the image is framed. You have the blues on the left, and it almost looks like they used a graduated filter to go from desaturation to black and white, but that's just the way that the buildings are.
You know, that just hit me that way. I didn't see that previously, but now that you mention it, you're right.
Wow.
It goes from color to black and white.
Wow. Okay. Will I be standing in the morning? Sign of the times. Afternoon stroll. Black Austin Matters. Hitting the high note. Dennis, I think you wanted to talk about this.
It's an interesting shot. You can hear the music, and it's a good action shot and a tough one to take at night. I would have cropped it down a lot more since the center of focus is the guy playing. I don't think the Frost building really adds a whole lot to it in that regard. Or else I would have stepped back a little bit and got the whole building and the briefcase that he has for his money to be collected. And the only other, I love the colors, the bright colors, and a good sharp picture considering the light conditions and how difficult it is to take that. And if it would have moved over just a little bit to the left, then the 4th Street sign wouldn't be coming out of the head of the player. And that's always distracting to me, but maybe not other people. Maybe it just is part of the picture. But anyway, other than that, I think it's a nice, clean shot and sharp photo.
Okay. Thank you. A long exposure of Manhattan. Phil, I believe you chose this one. Oh, wait a minute. Well, yeah, you did, even though it's not yours. That's okay.
I think I chose this one too. Yeah.
Oh, did you both choose it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, then you've got, Brian, you've got first dibs. You can both talk about it if you want.
This is a great composition shot of Manhattan. Wait, Manhattan, right? Yeah. And it's in the title.
The clue.
I mean, there's really nothing negative I could say about it. It's just on a technical level. It's at sunrise, and I might have cropped up a little bit, killing some of the bay, and focused more on the sky, and did something to bring out you could kind of see them. They're kind of faded, but you could see the different colors of the sunrise happening, the pinks, the blues, the oranges. If you had brought that out a little bit more, it would have, man, this shot would have been just dynamic as hell and been dramatic and everything you'd want from a cityscape. But a really, really great shot.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with on that. It's overexposed. I think I see illumination in some of the buildings and some of the windows of the buildings. So this tells me it was very, very dark out. But I would say it's a little overexposed. You could have brought out more detail of the sky. And I think also possibly gotten a little more glow from the windows in the buildings if you just darkened it down a little bit. I'm seeing some chromatic aberration, some serious chromatic aberration on both the left and the right areas of the image, and some software processing would get rid of that, but that's also an indicator of a really, how can I say this delicately, really bad lens. There's no other way to put it.
Okay. I have a technical question. Are we seeing noise in the building, or is that something else? There's all this, the sky doesn't have any noise. So what are we seeing in the buildings.
Those are the individual windows in the buildings, I would think. That's my guess. It looks like noise. I see what you're saying, but I really think that's a high concentration of windows that have light coming out of them.
Well, because there's no noise anywhere else, so that's okay. Thanks for answering that. Next is cranes everywhere.
I think that's mine, isn't it? Yep.
You can comment if you like.
What I would like to see on this was what they were working on, the project. But I like the sun behind the crane, and I have to say that this person, it looks like to me, submitted quite a few images in this competition, and every single one of them shows really, really good work in terms of balance, dynamic range. I can't tell you how difficult it is to get the detail in that one crane that is sitting in front of the sun. You can get, it's very easy to do a profile on that, what's the word I'm looking for? A silhouette on that, but to get all that detail in that red crane up there with the sun in the background is really well done. In terms of the composition, it's straight, it's in focus, it's well exposed. But the post-processing was very, very good on this. As far as subject matter is concerned, I would like to have seen the building that was under construction as part of the image.
Okay. All right, well, that concludes round 2 from the intermediate class. And we can go through the winners. We have one honorable mention, and that goes to Patty Robertson for Stormbridge.
Yay, Patty.
Which is not a black and white picture. Third place goes to Calvin Poole for Strike.
I knew that was Calvin's. It's a lightning shot.
And Black Austin Matters, Nkosi Barrow.
Well done, Nkosi.
Excellent. And the winner, first place, Brian Nixon, the gentleman.
Way to go, B.
Now you can ask.
Yeah, I knew that was you too.
A single flash on the gentleman and exposed accordingly for the flash. That way everything else is, I could bring out the background a lot more without having to blow it out. And that was taken at about 9 a.m. in the morning. And that took about, I would say about 15 kick flips.
Wow.
For us to get that action in the middle like that.
Good job.
This one in particular was the last one that he had his sunglasses on. All the other ones he has his glasses off. So
I think it is.
I think it helps.
Sunglasses.
Yeah, he's really fun to shoot with. I'm doing like I've done a couple of skate shots of him in the past, and we're gonna do a whole series of these. So, yeah.
Right.
Good shot.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, great shot.
We're going to move on to the advanced group. We have 20 images in this group. And night vision.
This looks like it's something out of Brazil.
Horsepower. Cityscape from Pfluger Bridge. Tower layers. Austin morning. Morning climb. Ghosts on Pfluger Bridge. Jenga.
It's good to know I'm not the only person that calls it that tower.
South Beach. Young City. Caged View. City by the Bay. We will come back again. Austin Attitude. Downtown Dillo. Angles. Wash Day in Guatemala. Austin Skyline. Matrix. Outside Barber. Varanasi, India. Okay, now we will do our critique round. Night vision. I think Dennis is going to talk about this.
Right. This is just a wonderful shot with the nice blend, subtle blending of the darks and the lights, and there's nothing really blown out. I love the way it's framed with the different angles, all kind of focusing around those two light streaks. This is another one where I'm curious about how in the world do you make that shot with no lights in the building and all that? Is it taken at the daytime and then flip inverse lighting or what? But because I never see the city with no lights on at all. But anyway, beautiful composition, beautiful lighting, very subtle lighting, and nothing's blown out, and then nice shadows and nice little highlights coming in. And basically, I think it's just a wonderful shot.
Okay. Moving on. Next is horsepower.
Yeah, I think this was a great shot. This is mine, isn't it?
It wasn't, but you picked it and nobody else did, so go ahead.
Oh, okay. I think this is a great shot. Actually, it needs to be tighter, cropped, like so many others. But if you look at the bottom where the horses are, this is an early adaptation of early animation that's painted onto this wall down here, and then right above it is cars. So you've got a horsepower is a great title of the image. You got horses superimposed under cars, showing two modes of transportation. And I think it's a good eye, very well composed. But the only thing, the very small critique would be to crop it down tighter. But other than that, I think it's a great shot.
How would you crop it, from top to bottom?
I would take a little off the left and a little off the top and just a tiny bit off the bottom. There's not a whole lot there on the bottom. I like the fact that that road comes around, but definitely off the left and off the top.
Okay, thanks. All right.
Above the cars, obviously.
Cityscape from Fluter Bridge.
Okay, this.
Oh, okay, you want to do that too?
Yeah, this is really one of the better shots of the entire night, from a variety of standpoints. Number one, it's squared up level. The edges are not parallaxed. The color palette is just perfect. The exposure is probably just a tiny bit dark, but that's a very small comment. I would say the saturation needs to be boosted a little, but my goodness, the mood on this shot is tremendous. And what adds to the mood is that blurred image of the woman sitting on the bench. She's very, very ghost-like, And I think it adds to the image tremendously. It could be the wind blowing her hair during the timed exposure, but it's a tremendous shot. Very, very well done.
Next is tower layers. Dennis?
So I wanted to review this one just because I love the color palette. They got the blues and the red and the blues and the oranges and the green and the blue. So that's all wonderful color palette, and it was a very sharp picture taken. The problem I see with this though is the point. What is the point of the focus? And there's a lot of different distractions that jut into the picture. And so it makes it difficult for me to understand. My eyes wander around the picture, but I'm still trying to figure out what exactly is the center point and the focus on the picture. And so I think I would have to back up and try to figure out exactly what I'm trying to tell here. I see the layers of the tower, of the buildings and all that. And technically it's a very, very good shot, very clean shot. Everything's in focus, right saturation levels. There's just too much there to establish a center focus for me.
Okay. Next is Austin Morning. Phil, you're the only one to volunteer on this one if you want to do it.
This is another really good one. This is Zilker Park, if I'm not mistaken. Is this in front of the performance hall down there?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, which is usually packed with people. And this is a unique shot from the standpoint that there's no people in it, at least not that I can see. The sky is good. The composition is just excellent in this shot. They did everything right. It's level. The edges are straight. But this person is also using that lens that is something less than stellar. On the left-hand side of the image, that dark squared rectangular building has a lot of chromatic aberration in it, which is not a good thing, but that's a small little nitpick comment about what is obviously a very, very well done image.
Okay. This one's called Morning Climb. Next one is Ghosts on Fluger Bridge.
This is another good one.
Jenga. South Beach.
Let me, do you mind if I jump in here on this one?
Not at all.
South Beach shot. This is a composite. And the way I can tell that it's a composite is because the detail in the moon is one of the most difficult things to shoot in photography. You look up in the sky and you think, wow, that looks great. You go shoot it, and all you have is this big blob of white light. And you've got the colors from these little hotels on South Beach with the light reflecting off the palm trees, and then the moon is sitting up above with all that detail. And I cannot tell you how difficult it is to get the dynamic range correct. And the photographer did a great job with this.
Agreed.
That moon that makes the whole shot.
Young City. Caged View.
This one's mine, I believe.
Okay.
I really enjoyed this shot. It's a really fun way to play with the concept of a cityscape. Much like the fence one in the intermediate level. Of course, it's perfectly exposed. I like the colors going in the sky and the buildings contrasting to the weathered cement of the parking structure, the soulless cement of the parking structure. I would have liked to have seen a tighter crop I know I just mentioned that the parking structure adds to it, but you have a little bit too much of it. If you brought it in a little bit on the edges to match the top and the bottom of it,
It's more of a square orientation, in other words.
yeah, it would have made it almost tunnel-like to where you get the idea that it's caged, but it almost actually makes it more claustrophobic, which brings out that caged cityscape feeling a little bit more. But great image, great capture.
Okay. Next is City by the Bay, and it's, Phil, you've already done 3, but if you want to do one more this round.
Yeah, I especially want to do this one because the photographer did things right and a few things could be improved upon. So this is a image of the Bay Bridge in San Francisco taken from, it looks like Tiburon. And what you did right was the lights on the bridge, on the suspension spans on that bridge, are a artistic display by a local Bay Area artist, and I think it's going to be on display for 2 years. And I've tried to shoot it, and I have never been able to capture it like it was captured in this shot. So very, very well done. I would say it's got this, I don't know what word to use, but there's a lot of fog in the city on this night, and that took away from the sharp clarity of the downtown areas. But I like the way it came out. I mean, I think it was very, very well done. The only thing that I would say is tilt your camera up a little more. There's nothing to be gained with all that water in the foreground. I don't think it contributes to the image, but you've got these clouds that you could have played with a little bit more, and just tilt your camera up ever so slightly, and I think you would have had a perfect image. But very, very well done capturing the artwork on that bridge. That's something I've never seen before.
This was called We Will Come Back Again.
I want to ask how many photographers have shot that building where the Twin Towers used to be before they put the broadcast antenna up there. I was there, and I was able to shoot it before they got the tower up. So I think I'm very lucky in that I was able to shoot it in its infancy. But that's a great shot.
This one's called Austin Attitude.
I think this is one of mine that I picked.
Okay.
This is a great portrait, a great black and white portrait. I'm assuming natural light. Just, it doesn't seem like there's any hard flash or anything. On a natural day, the way that the wind catches her hair but doesn't quite block out one of the eyes. It's almost there, but you still see both eyes. Everything's in focus. It's a good portrait, good street portrait. The one problem I have with it is it's cropped so tight that you don't really get a cityscape feel out of the photo. Aside from the background obviously being the city out of focus. But that's my one negative thing to say about it. It's, other than that, it's a great street portrait.
Downtown Dillo. Angles, that would be Dennis.
Yes, when I first looked at that, I thought I was standing on a very tall building looking down on something, and I just love the shadows and the light play and the angles that they have. And then when I looked at it a little bit more, it looks like it's from the City of Austin building downtown, and that's a patio. But I really love the way they cropped it to get the play of the angles and the shadows and the dynamics of the picture overall. Very well done.
Okay.
This photo speaks everything I love about black and white photos. The way that you have all the lines are going in opposite directions, even on the shadows, and it still draws you to the center. There's a lot of chaos going on in this photo that makes it a great photo.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I thought it was looking down too, but now that I'm looking at it, it's a horizontal shot, isn't it?
Yeah, it's on the second balcony of the city hall.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
Okay. Wash Day in Guatemala.
This is one of mine too, I believe.
All right.
This is a great street shot. I love the story it tells. I love the colors. It's a very. It just tells a great story. The one thing, again, it's very similar to what I said about the highway shot in the basic grouping, is if you had taken the photo a few seconds earlier, she would have been perfectly inside that triangle of guy wires and the lighting pole, and you wouldn't have had a guy wire going straight through the laundry basket. It's just a little bit distracting. But considering that this is a candid street shot, I love the direction that she's going in and that she's going away from frame. There's nothing too distracting from it. And the colors too. And if you haven't caught on yet, I'm critiquing more color photos since I have a reputation for not doing color photos. Just to show you that I do appreciate color photos. But yeah, great shot, guys.
Okay, thanks, Brian. Austin skyline, and this is not a black and white either.
No, this is the tour de force in processing.
Yeah, pretty cool looking.
And I have no idea how they got that, but I think those colors are artificially inserted there. It looks like to me. If not, then I stand corrected. But this is post-processing on steroids, and I think you did a great job with it.
It's really cool. This one is called Matrix. And our last image is outside Barber in Varanasi, India. So, to the winners. I think we have 2 honorable mentions in this group. The first one is angles. And yeah, a lot of people that look at this image get the feeling that they're looking down. I've heard that comment.
That's the way it hit me.
Yeah.
That's the way it hit me.
Great job, Mark. That's an amazing shot.
Yeah, it is.
You done good, my friend.
Oops. I skipped ahead here. Oops. Let's go through this again. All right. What happened here?
Now you're, yeah. Oh, hey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Try it again.
Technology. It happened.
All right. Honorable mention, Alan Irby for Coast on Pfluger Bridge.
That's a fun one, Alan. I like that.
Really cool shot.
Yep. Very good.
It needed one more tripod. One more tripod.
I love those deep blues.
Yeah. That's where your tripod went.
Alan, I know this. I should have known this was your image because of all the dust spots. So that sensor, I know you got a bad sensor. That one needs to be cleaned, but I love this image.
Different camera.
No, different cameras. They're all dirty, huh? Okay, we saw this one, the other honorable mention. Okay, third place, Stephen Burkich for We Will Come Back Again.
Nice, this is Stephen. A great shot.
Yeah, that's beautiful, Stephen.
Background make it.
Yeah, really beautiful, Stephen.
And the shadows on the building. I mean, yeah, it's a great shot.
A lot of detail.
Yeah.
And great use of
and I had a little help
salmon
on this one.
Oh.
Oh yeah, I have to give a shout out to the person that helped me on the skater shot was Marina Cohen. She was my lighting assist. She definitely held the spot the flash where I needed it.
Steven, where's the bear? Is it like a hidden view picture where you have to find the bear?
I've gotten away from bears. I haven't seen them in almost a year now.
This would be amazing if there was like a 10-pixel bear somewhere in there.
Jess has got me into night photography now.
City.
Second place is night vision. And for anybody who wants to learn how to do this,
Scott Kelby has a course on it.
That's right.
Mark,
Yeah.
was this during the day or was this at night and you use
It
night?
was in the middle of the day, bright blue,
Middle of the day.
cloudless sky. So this webinar, it's actually on Kelby.com, but it tells you how to, you have to select out all the buildings, get rid of the sky, then put the black in to replace the sky, and then it teaches you how to create clouds. I really like the technique. I've done it for several different buildings, and I've enjoyed it a lot. It's a really
awesome.
Yeah, it's the angle that makes it, though. I mean, the black and white's cool, but it's the angle that makes it. It would be good in color, right? Because it almost feels like those shots of Singapore where you see like looking up through that cluster of buildings.
No, Josh, it wouldn't be good in color. It'd be terrible in color.
I agree with the angle, though. I think it's wonderful that way.
Yeah, the angle makes it.
If you saw this color picture, you would go, eh. But I thought it was perfect for this technique.
It looks like the backdrop of a Batman movie.
And lastly is a really amazing shot by Dennis Bosserman.
Well, thank you.
It's,
Good job, Dennis.
I love the colors. I love the reflections. I got to admit, I did not see the chromatic aberration, but I would not discount it for that. That's easy enough to fix, but the rest of it is just, plus you had to get up early, I imagine, to do this.
Yeah, I was actually down there about an hour and a half before sunrise, and I kept wandering around downtown trying to find a spot. And, I was starting to get nervous, and then the sky started coming in so beautiful, and I found this spot there by the...
You picked a great spot, and you captured it really well. So
you did
kudos. Yeah. Okay.
Good dynamic range balancing on.
Yeah, that's just super. So you probably want to see who the people's choices were.
Hold on, Dad.
So we will do that for all three classes at once.
When I get done here, I'll get you.
And so starts off for some reason in the advanced group, but third place, or the bronze, is South Beach by Haitham Samarchi, which is just a cool as hell image. I really like that.
Yeah, it is.
That'd be fun on like a super metallic-y paper.
Yeah, it's just great colors, and you can like Phil mentioned, those colored lights coming off the palm trees, just awesome. And the moon.
That's a really
the moon blows me away.
People's Choice Silver for Dennis on that amazing shot. And proving that the people know what they're doing.
No, this is an exemplary image. This is really good.
Well, I owe it all to Scott Kelby, so I'll send him up.
Enter mine.
I have to let him know. In the basic division, I don't know why these are out of order, but that's okay. People's Choice Bronze goes to Verlin Smith for Austin When There Was a Nightlight. That's a really cool image, catching it with the moon like that too. All the reflections so symmetric.
If you turned it 90 degrees, it almost looks like a Christmas tree.
Yeah. That's a good thought.
Hey.
Yeah.
And People's Choice Silver.
Hey, good job, Ronnie.
Ronnie
Hey,
Duke.
Ronnie.
Really nice.
I never cease to be amazed at how the Europeans succeed in squeezing buildings in between other buildings and make it work. They have no zoning whatsoever.
And Donna Smith has another winning image tonight. Sunrise Reflection.
Cool.
People's Choice for Gold. Excellent. And in the intermediate group, third place, bronze goes, no, is that right? Yeah, Nkosi Barrow.
Yeah, nice shot, Nkosi.
Really like that. Great exposure on that. I'd like to know where he was standing when there's that a drone shot or what?
Yeah, really.
Drone.
Has to be.
I don't even think they would let
That
drones
was a
down there.
drone, or that was one hell of a telephoto lens, because there's no buildings that.
It's the new Manfrotto 90-foot tripod.
The new member, Nick Grossman, has jumped into the winner's pool really quickly. Nick, great image of Manhattan. Congratulations. And you're going to be disqualified.
Sunrise
from
or
the rest of our
sunset?
contest.
Yeah, they were asking, is it sunrise or sunset, Nick?
I think it's sunset.
Yeah, I may have got that the wrong way around. Sorry, guys.
Yeah,
I can
that's
feel it
sunset.
early morning, so that's sunrise. Sorry.
Mm-mm.
Is Nick turned
That's
on?
I
need-
that's
I need to check
sunset.
the information and see when it was. I may have been confused there.
That was shot for the bronze. That was sunset, I think.
A Canon L lens on a 5D3, so I'll have to check what went on there.
Okay.
Because that looks like it's from the
Find out.
Jersey side or Staten Island side or Brooklyn side. So I would say
Like Brooklyn.
I'm
Should
saying
be more.
sunset.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nick, you said you shot that with a 5D3?
5D3 and a 2470 2.8L.
Yeah. That I have a 5D3, and I'm seeing what I usually see on that is when you try to boost the shadows, it gets that luminance noise gets really bad in the shadows on those 5D3s. Yeah. Yeah, you really have to shoot them the opposite way that most people are told. You have to shoot it so that you expose for the shadows, and it has a lot of highlight recovery. Whereas like people who shoot Nikon and Sony, you can shoot the other way where you protect the highlights and boost the shadows. It's just that version of that sensor does that. Whereas the Canon 5D4 is back to what everybody else is doing, expose for the highlights and bring up the shadows.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay. What was that? Was that? Oops. Oh, I got to get back on this. And the gold medal in the intermediate class is for Patty Robertson, Stormbridge.
Yay.
Well done.
Hey.
Well done.
Nice, Patty.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Nice.
I hope you didn't get run over by a car taking that.
No, there was surprisingly no traffic when I was there.
That bridge gets very little traffic.
Did you use the graduated filter, or how did you
Nope.
get that gray?
I used a Scott Kilby
Oh, more Scott Kelby.
preset. I started out. It's called bleached blue.
Ah.
And I kind of went from there and made some adjustments, but
Cool.
yeah, thank you.
Really, this would make a great print. Good job.
Thanks.
Yeah, again, I think on some like metallic luster, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it gave it kind of a gritty look.
Yeah.
All right, that concludes tonight's competition. I want to thank all the entrants for some amazing photos again. I especially want to thank the judges for putting in so much time and effort and giving us such great commentary. It really helps to enjoy the whole process. So we look forward to seeing you again on our critique nights. At this point, I think we ought to probably turn this over to Alan. He wanted some. Alan, do you still want to show the edits?
Sure. I mean, it won't take long. There won't be individual comment on each picture. But I did want to show the images to show people what the virtual edit competition is about.
All right. And I think that Ed will give you control of the. Oh, I just turned myself off.
Returning control of your
Oh, there it
TV.
is. Yes, there we go.
All right, Alan, you have control.
All right. Can you see my screen?
Nope.
No, you have to press at the bottom, there's a share content button. It's like a box with an arrow coming out of it.
I don't.
Take your cursor down to the bottom.
You have to click on the window.
It's a third icon out of about eight icons. Looks like a box with an arrow pointed up.
Yeah, I'm clicking on it. Allow.
WebEx has to be the active window. So you have to click on the bar at the top, and then the icons will show up at the bottom.
WebEx is the active window. Oh, well.
Did you give him control, Ed?
Yes. Wait a minute. I think I have to do something here.
You have to have the images open in other windows, and then you select them after you have the ability to share.
If you can't do it, Ellen, I can present it.
Here we go. Okay, you see that now?
Yeah. Now we got it.
Okay, so just a quick overview. This is our meetup group. And what we're looking at today is the photos from the June Virtual Edit Challenge. This particular month we had 6 images, and they were challenging. There was no great image in any of them, and there's no great way to see them. You're going to see a cropped version of the image here. So, and I'm just going to run through them quickly. You comment if you like, but I'm not going to go into any details about any of them.
Alan, you can hit slideshow up at the top and the image will be a little larger.
Live show.
Play slideshow, the image.
Okay. So each person had we didn't restrict the number of images that you could edit. You could take a particular image and edit it multiple times. We had no restriction on that.
Well done.
Yeah, who did these last 2?
Excuse me?
Who did the last 2? Those real tight crops.
That one?
The one before this one.
This one?
Yeah, I really like the crop on that.
That is mine. Oh, okay, it's mine.
Oh, never mind. I don't like it that much.
Appreciate the support.
Anytime.
So there's a lot of common edit choices. Hopefully, at some point in the future, here's a black and white. I enjoy seeing different takes on the original image's point of view. For example, I like this one. I think who did that? Oh, Robert. And we're almost done. And that's it. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alan, question for you.
Wow.
These are all on the meetup site. Is the original image there too?
I actually struggled getting it. Meetup has a problem, and I haven't quite entirely figured it out. I wasn't able to get the originals on in the album, so this is probably pretty close to what the original looked like.
I would like.
I like that
we
black
put
and
it on our own
white scary
website.
eyes.
I'm sorry?
I wonder if we could put those on our own website with the original, because it would be very interesting to see the original that everybody's working from.
Well, yeah, my intention was to actually load up the library with all of the originals, but for whatever reason, Meetup is having difficulty with their photos upload.
Okay, well, maybe that's something we can work on.
Yeah, so so that was June. I don't have specific photos for July yet. Ed and I were talking about it, and I think we came up with a number of really good future ideas. But if anybody has pictures that they think could make for an interesting challenge, or possibly a small group, let me know, and we'll make them available.
Well,
Anyway,
thanks.
that's all that I wanted to show.
All right.
And how do I get rid of?
Up at the top of the screen, there's a pull-down menu.
There we go.
Were there any other pictures that people wanted to talk to the photographer about in this competition? Since we have a little time, if there's anything somebody want to know more about that we hadn't talked about already.
Well, Mark, can you talk about night vision and the Scott Kelby approach? Is that possible?
Sure. Well, yeah, it's a multi-step process that Scott lays out, and I'm actually down here somewhere. But first thing you have to do is, you find a suitable picture, and his, or the ones that he did that he thought was great was where you're looking up at buildings, and I agree with that. Matter of fact, give me back control of this. I can use an image for.
Yeah, you've got control.
Okay.
If we have time left after this, I'd like to look at the one with the real sharp edges on it.
Okay, I'm going to show. Well, anyway, you select the sky, or you select the buildings, and then invert it, and you select the sky and place a black layer behind the building. So now the sky is replaced with just a black layer. Now you can do this with moving clouds if you've taken a long exposure, but if you do that, there's another step you have to go through, which I didn't learn since I used a blank sky. Let's see here. Yeah. So.
You mean those aren't clouds above?
I made those clouds with Photoshop.
Oh.
So that's part of the process too.
Well, now, if you'd like to know a really easy way to do it, is to just do the transfer to black and white, put it in the sliders in Photoshop, and some way down on the blue slider and the magenta slider and the cyan slider, and boom, you get a black sky.
Yeah, but if you have any
else
blue,
in the image,
if you
it
have
was
any
blue.
blue in your buildings, any blue reflecting in the building?
It
Yeah,
looks
you're
like
gonna
there was a deal in those buildings that was also desaturated. So, I mean, I thought it was a tremendous image, and I thought that's what they did, was they just did a black and white conversion in Photoshop and
No, it's a little
all the
more.
way to the left on the blue slider. That's what it looked like to me. But I mean, whatever works,
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of has that
There you
infrared
go.
feel as well.
There you go.
I can't put a link for this, unfortunately, because it's not public, but for anybody who wants to know more about it, you can grab me in a meeting and I'll bring you some information on it.
It looks just like a Batman movie.
I did it with a couple of other images too. Let's see if I can find them here. Where it should be all in the same collection. Oh, I gotta highlight Lightroom first. Okay. Okay. This
Perfect.
was
Wow.
yeah, this is from Las Vegas, the Market Center, another daytime shot. And I, did a composite moon on it. And you could, using the circle tool, but the
radial
tool. Let's see, what do they call this?
Radial.
Yeah, the radial tool. You can make ovals and brighten them up so it looks like you've got light coming down the building. So it's it's really fun to do stuff with. And, let's see.
That one.
That's the same building, just fooled around a little bit more with it. And these are all day shots. This is right across the street from that building, and this is Las Vegas again. This is the Ruvo Alzheimer's or mental illness center. They do a lot of Alzheimer's research here, and it's a fascinating piece of architecture by Frank Gehry. But I thought it would be I've done this in color. I really liked it, but I thought it'd be interesting to do it with this technique.
Real life liquefy.
Yeah, yeah. The fascinating building.
That's Frank Gehry for you.
Yeah. This is just one of our county courthouses. I think it's south of Austin. I can't remember.
Lockhart.
County.
Lockhart.
Lockhart.
Yeah. So again, creating light beams and artificial clouds. So anyway, that's, I'll be happy to talk to anybody more about that.
Very cool.
Somebody else
That's
wanted
the image that's got the high pass filter on it.
What was the picture of?
Austin skyline with the real sharp white edges.
There's one with the buildings outlined.
I know what you're talking about.
I did that. And I did the highlight outline, but I had to recreate some of the lines because I didn't have a solid picture all the way around. But I would just submitted that just to see what you guys would say about things, that have been highly processed.
Yeah, well, we hate them.
Dennis, honestly, on that photo, if you left just the buildings and let everything else go black, that could be a really cool graphic.
Okay.
So instead of having those whites at the bottom, just either black or color or nothing else.
Okay.
Let me find that image here. Oh, I'm in the wrong menu. I got to go through all of them here. So, quick scan.
Dennis, just a question for you. Your outline was a high pass filter?
There's a mode where you can just select the highlights of it and it will create it, but then I had to go in and filter out a lot more and add a few more in to get all around all the buildings.
I've been wanting to do something like that on other things other than skylines.
I really like this a lot. I mean, it's creative. And that's really the natural, well, I don't say the natural color, but that's the color of those buildings. It's just been enhanced, right? You didn't change the colors, did you? Or did you?
I did change the colors on some of the buildings. Yeah.
Okay. I guess I don't remember them as well as I thought. But I really like the way that turned out. That's very cool. Definitely would look good on your wall.
Yeah, I have it on a wall.
It really fits the theme.
I'm sorry?
Was there any other images that people want to look at? We got a couple minutes left. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see that. If somebody typed in something or not.
Something about a critique on a macro image.
On the macro?
Yeah. Go ahead and unmute and tell us.
Yeah, who did the tiny model one?
Is that Roni?
Yeah, I think that was me.
All right. That was, what was it called?
You said it sounded like a search term. It was model macro Manhattan miniature or something like that.
That's the real title?
I thought it was funny.
Oh, well, I had to take points off for too long. Okay, let's see. Okay, that's in the basic group, number one. Okay.
Yeah, how'd you do that?
Okay.
I did a digital draw, like a painting on my iPad, put it on my computer as the background, had black plexiglass in front of it covered in saran wrap, and then put polymer clay land, and then put model buildings. They're all Manhattan buildings, but they're out of order.
Interesting. I would have loved to see a behind the scenes shot of that. Did you take like a picture of the setup?
I did. I don't know that I have it ready, but I've got one somewhere.
I'd love to see what that looked like.
Nice blending.
I don't.
You don't have to do it right now. Just, sometime. Just send it to me. Or
Okay.
post it somewhere. But throw it in the Facebook group. That'd be a great one for the Facebook group.
Fifth Thursday
Okay.
also will be a good time.
When would be? I'm sorry?
Fifth Thursday. Thursday afternoon.
Oh, okay.
No, do it now. I want to see it now. I don't want to wait.
No patience.
Okay, I'll put it in
guys.
Facebook.
I have the patience of my 6-year-olds. Now.
Okay. Well, next month is an open theme, so anything goes. So the judges should not be giving you bad scores on story because the theme is whatever you want it to be.
So more birds, more bears.
Hummingbird.
No bears.
We need axe murderers.
Old.
Bears.
I think Brian's gonna give us one here soon. If I know what he's been shooting.
No bees, no birds, no bears, no black and white.
Oh, no, don't say that. I love black and white.
You'll have a revolt on your hand if you say no black and white.
Yeah. Any other officers have comments to make?
You know, I think these themes are, for a lot of us, the themes are kind of shooting left-handed, right? I think a lot of people were going back and pulling in their archives. And it's like, oh man, I got to go find a cityscape I shot. But I think themes are fun and that they kind of, right? We're not judging people on who's the best bird photographer or the best wildlife photographer, right? It's best photographer. And I think these themes really kind of make you work and get a little uncomfortable in a good way, where in two ways. One, you see what everybody else can do, right? So like there were some cityscape ones and I was like, man, that's really good. Like I thought mine were good, and then I saw what was submitted. I was like, yeah, those were better, right? So there's some humbling going on. There's some learning going on because we're seeing what everybody else can do and the different techniques you can go through. But also it gets you out of your comfort, right? So for me, I normally shoot people and cars, and so to have to go do something else. I think for all of us, right? Not everybody shoots whatever that theme is that month, and so I think themes are good that way. Is that it makes you work. It gets you out of your comfort zone. But the upshot to that is you can take some of those skills and then apply them to the areas that you actually are, the most focused on, combining techniques. Like somebody submitted photos, I'm guessing were from the Moose Peterson workshop with Sarah Jones and Dylan and the other guy. It was called Urban Landscapes, right? So, but taking those skills of combining urban landscapes with portraits and mixing those together and getting those mashups is where a lot of the fun really happens, right? Like Ronnie's taking the, modeling clay with a computer background to do a cityscape. Like, it's taking macro and making it into landscape or a cityscape, right? So, there's different cool things that people are doing. And I think that's kind of what the themes are there for, is to kind of broaden your horizon, so to speak.
This is Clay, membership secretary. I just want to welcome Nick again for being one of our new members. We also had recently, clap, yeah. Brandon Horach, Susan Park, Sabrina Lansford, Bill Prout, and our most recent member, Aiden Tauber. Aiden Tauber. And I'm sorry they're not on the call, I don't believe. Is any of those people on the call? Okay.
I would say raise your hand if you're here, but does it really work?
Yeah. We're glad to have our new members and look forward to their being in the competition.
Hey, Mark, can you unshare your screen so we can go back to seeing everybody?
Yeah, sure. Can you take it away from me?
I don't know. If you go to floating panels, you can see everybody anyway. But...
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was looking at. So.
There we go.
Got it. Okay.
And I got it. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Cool. Look at that.
Hey, Phil, good to see you again. Don't be a stranger.
Yeah, Dennis, how was it judging for the first time?
I got a new appreciation for what the judges go through, actually. But it was very enlightening, and it was fun, though. I mean, you really do take a good look at every picture, and it helps you. And in fact, that's why I wanted to volunteer. I want to learn more.
Yeah, that
It
sounds
felt
exactly
like
right.
your critiques were very on spot.
Yeah.
And just see how my critique aligns with other people's critiques, and see whether I'm close or way out of bed.
Yeah, I mean, that's these meetings and these meetings in particular, right? The judging ones, they're like AA, and that they only work if you go to them, right? Not that I've been to AA, that going down a dark path, but no, but it only works if you show up, right? Like it only works if you put in the time to both look at what the judges are saying, look at what the photos are, listen to what the people are saying, and the more you do it, right, you build up those mental reps. And so when you go out into the field, you're going to hear Josh's voice go, "Hey, what about the cropping over there?" Huh? All right. You're going to hear all the different voices that you've been hearing in the judging. Be like, "Oh, let me do it this way a little. Let me try this way," or seeing new techniques to inspire you, right? And so it only works if you show up. If you show up to the meetings, you submit photos, you pay attention, and so you don't learn at your speed. Now you're learning. What do we have? 20 members, 25 members in the meeting tonight. So now you're learning 25 times faster than you could on your own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes a difference.
And if you're judging double that again, you're learning 50 times faster. I'm serious. I'm dead serious. Like I learn more judging than I do anything else.
I can believe it.
Yeah.
I had a question for Calvin. If Calvin can unmute, I just wanted to know how he got that lightning strike. And what was he doing out in the rain?
I don't see Calvin up there anymore.
He's there.
Yeah, I'm here. Are you hearing me?
They do have some equipment that will watch for a lightning strike and will trigger your camera on that strike.
Yeah, MyOps.
Are you guys hearing me?
Yeah, we're hearing.
Yeah.
Basically, I got a whole lot of pictures that night with no lightning in them.
Wow.
I
Been there, done that.
Yeah, me too.
I just set up on the 30-second exposures and set a, I'm going to say it wrong, intervalometer, whatever.
Oh, you said it right. You said it right.
Yeah.
Oh, I did. Whoa, hey, first time.
Yeah.
And then I got back in my truck and sat in my truck because it was kind of cold when the front came through. But now I got up on a parking garage and framed it up and just ran a whole series of shots. And that was the one strike I got that night.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, been there, done that. I have a lightning shot from downtown Austin, and I took 47 shots in a row. I think it was kind of in the afternoon, and they were each like 2-second exposures, maybe 2.5-second exposures. And I got one lightning strike out of it. And I went back and reviewed the photo, and I realized that I had set my tripod. I was sitting next to the old railroad track, and it was right under like a transformer. Ooh, I was like, maybe I shouldn't have done. That was maybe not.
I did that one night, and what you can do, since you're on a tripod and everything lines up, you can take 2 or 3 different lightning strikes and blend them into one shot.
Yeah.
And it'll look, just by using a lighten blending mode.
Yeah.
And lightning pops into your picture. So.
Yeah.
Wow. The aggravating part is you get your image framed up where you've got some type of interesting subject to frame into it, and you kind of have an idea of what your frame is. And while you're doing all these shots over and over again, you're seeing these strikes that are just out of frame.
Yeah.
That would have been great. That would have been great.
Murphy's Law.
Yeah.
Lightning is a little bit like trout fishing with your hands.
I prefer O'Malley's Law. Are y'all familiar with O'Malley's Law?
No, what's that?
He said Murphy was a fucking optimist. All right, I got a question for everybody though. And we don't have a theme, so does anybody have any good plans to go out and shoot some stuff? I know we're kind of locked down a little bit, but
Houston fireworks.
Okay, Houston fireworks, cool.
From the police Memorial Bayou.
Okay, cool.
Going to Houston is not my guy, too. Good thing to do.
Pflugerville has fireworks from the Texas
Typhoon.
Texas.
Yeah, they're gonna be at Typhoon, Texas. Yeah, that could be
so
cool.
You can see them from just a lot of different places. You can see that.
Yeah, it might be cool to get them with all like the water slides and all that.
Galveston canceled theirs.
Yeah, people.
I was going to go down there, but they canceled them. But
Yeah.
Houston.
Try to edit everything I got from Colorado.
Well, come to Pflugerville.
Hey, Steven, send me
that
last Milky Way. Can you send me that raw? I want to play with it.
Yeah, I could do that.
Yeah, just email it to me or something.
All right. Or
Yes, I got a new grandkid coming. Maybe I'll take pictures of that.
No big.
Everybody loves
I gotta
babies.
run here, so.
All right, Phil.
All right, Phil. Thanks again. Really appreciate it.
All right, you're welcome. You guys have a good evening.
All right.
Thanks for changing.
Take care.
So,
hey, Josh, shoot me an email, and you can put in like a link or something to like your documents, whatever. What the hell?
Google
You
Docs.
save all your photos. Yeah, your Google Docs,
Okay.
and I could just transfer it over.
Okay. I'll do that. Is anybody else going to go out and shoot anything? Anybody got any fun projects coming up?
Got a macro thing that I bought. I got my platypod finally. Can you see that?
No, I can't see. We don't see your screen.
Oh, I don't know where I am. Anyway, I bought a platypod, and it comes with some Lumicubes they can attach to it.
Oh, you got the mini cubes with yours.
Yeah.
I have a couple Luma cubes, man. I love those things.
Yeah, so I need to start experimenting with that.
Yeah, I got two of them. I got the big one and the small one.
Yeah, I got the big one.
Canon Precision has if anybody shoots Canon, I saw they have a used. It's called the MP65. It's a 5x Mac.
How much is that?
Yeah, I saw the used one at Precision for it was like 650.
That's tempting.
I almost bought it. I almost bought it.
Oh, Boston. Well, you can buy it and loan it to me.
I have no use for it, but I was like, ooh.
You know, if it's still available,
yeah,
it.
It was there Saturday.
Yeah.
What is this that you're talking about?
It's called the MP65. So one of the reasons I shoot Canon is because they have literally some crazy lenses that nobody else has, and they have a 5x macro. So most macros are like 1:1, so life size representation. This one goes down 5 times, so it's nuts.
You have to shoot on
you have to shoot at like f32 with like crazy lights.
And you have to go. What do you call that?
Focus stacking.
Focus stacking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Is another name for it a microscope?
No,
almost.
But it's almost.
Close.
Most microscopes start at like 20x, and so I mean it's a serious tool. Like the lens is the easy part to buy, like getting the tripod and the focus rails and the software to do all the focus stacking. Like that's the hard part. It's not the yeah.
I
It's
know
like
Ed's tried focus stacking. I think I'm going to try that over the weekend here.
Yeah, and some of the new cameras, some of the new manufacturers have like built-in focus stacking where they'll do automatic with the mirrorless. They can kind of auto shift the sensor a little bit where they can do that. So that's kind of a nice.
I've got that in the camera. It's the software I've got to get and spend some time figuring out how many frames I need to have to get a given depth of field.
It depends on what you're shooting. I mean, I've done some flowers with maybe 3 to 4 shots and blend them together, and without even using fancy software, just Photoshop.
Yeah.
And not fancy software.
No.
Well, but
it's not specific. It's not specific for photo stacking.
To give you an idea, there's a bug photographer that I like, and he was blending like it was like 100 shots per bug.
Wow.
But he had to focus stack just to keep it in focus. And you're talking about something that's something that's maybe not even an inch big in real life, and it was that many shots to get the focus.
Those look great. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah. It's a whole. It's kind of the opposite end of a super telephoto, right?
Yeah.
The very opposite end of it. So that's cool. Anybody else got Mohib, what about you, man? You always got cool stuff. What you got coming up?
He's got to get unmuted.
Unmute
Mohib.
He's probably just tuning me out like all the women.
There he is.
He's unmuted.
Hey, Mohib, what you got coming up, man? You're always shooting cool stuff. What you got coming up?
He fell asleep.
I know. My dulcet tones. When I'm trying to get my kids asleep, I drop down like 3 octaves and I just go, all right, kids, we're going to read a nice story tonight.
Yeah, you sound like my professor in college.
Oh, I know. I fell asleep in more classes than I stayed awake in.
I just want to pitch the idea that each member can have a gallery. And I see Arlie has a gallery, and she's got like 6 images.
In our website.
Yeah, on our website, right, Ed? You can each member. You can do that on your own. You don't need assistance from the administrator.
Well, yes and no. For some reason, when you make a gallery, after you make it, it doesn't let you add anything to it until an administrator gives you permission to add stuff. I don't know why they do that, but.
Well, isn't there a feature on there that we can click so they don't have to do that?
I haven't found a default. I'll look again. I didn't think there was a default, but it does send email to the administrators telling, saying there's a gallery.
I think I might be mistaken, but I think once they've been approved once.
Oh, yeah, right.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Just for the first time, you have to be approved.
That's right.
Yeah, I just checked. We have 10 member portfolios.
Yeah, that's cool. I was looking at some of them and appreciating what people have done.
Yeah, I need to redo mine, put some different stuff up.
Everybody wants to see what I did yesterday. Go check out my Instagram. I'll post a link. I got to I shot a $1.4 million car yesterday. That was fun.
That was the Gullwing car, right?
Yeah, it's a McLaren Senna. So they had the F1, then they had the P1, and now they have the Senna. So it's their McLaren Special Operation Division. So yeah, it was fun.
I'll tell you who's prolific on Instagram is Russ.
Yeah.
He really goes for it.
Yeah. I love seeing his work.
Did you post on Instagram, Josh, or where do you see this car, or is it just for a client?
Yeah, no, I just posted it on Instagram a couple hours ago. It's up there.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, there's the link in the chat if you want to see it.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. It'll also probably be one of my submissions coming up because
Silicon Auto Group.
Yeah, that's what I shoot for. So.
Oh.
Yeah, I got to get my Epson fired back up. I changed my network and now it's giving me problems. Yeah, I would make a print of one of those. It looks pretty good.
Mary Long's been using her pool a lot. I can see she got a lot of underwater pictures.
Oh, really? I haven't seen those yet.
Yeah, they're cool.
That's cool.
Didn't I hear somebody say they had a platypod?
Yep.
Steven and Mark both have them.
I have one.
Yep.
Oh, now I have one I can borrow and see if I like it.
Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah.
I can count on Ed. I've known him a while.
My wife made me get a storage unit. So.
Yeah, well, Ed's room is a storage unit. Let me tell you.
She damn near kicked me out of the house. I had so much photo gear in the house. Yeah.
Well, there's the alternative to that, Josh.
What's that?
There's the alternative to being kicked out for having too much gear.
What's that?
Buy her gear too.
Well.
Yeah. Oh, she has a lot of horse riding gear. That it's starting to come out. So
my wife's into pottery, so we built her a whole building for it. So I get to do whatever I want now.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. See, look, I'll turn. Look, there's. So we got the printer right there. So, and then this whole shelf, that whole shelf right there, that's all paper. That on the right side, that's all different papers. So, yeah.
Well, y'all have a wonderful holiday weekend.
Yeah, y'all be safe. Please be safe. Stay distanced. Yeah. Otherwise, great seeing everybody.
All right.
We'll see you on 2 weeks.
All right, great.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Hi, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Later.